Do you think facing old age as a gay man will be different or offer more challenges than if you were straight? If so, how and why? For example, there are calls for gay-only nursing homes.
I don't want to think about going to a nursing home.
I don't think about getting old.
No.
I suppose
Darling, I'm facing it.
It's the gay man's legacy,
and you won't,
isn't it?
if you don't
not
have
likely
kids,
to
they're
get
not going to
married
choose the
and have
nursing
kids.
home for you.
It reminds me of sort of getting old as a gay man, or getting older as a gay man. You know, everybody's tits go south, right? But of course, stereotypically, most male, female, heterosexual relationships, at some point, you know, in the ideal, you get married, have kids, and what have you, and then of course, you know, once you're married, that's it. You set up. You're going to grow old together.
Yeah, you watch your kids grow up
and everything else. And a lot of gay men, maybe it's I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, promiscuity, but a lot of, in our world, if you like, you see a lot of older gay men that aren't settled and they aren't with long-term partners. And I think that's what terrifies me the most.
But they grew up in a time, say if it's an older gentleman, that they would have grown up in a time where it wasn't as accepted and they couldn't, it would have been harder to form relationships and hold hands with your partner.
Yeah, it's more common now, but even still, it's so, you see so many more men, gay men of all different ages that are behaving as heterosexual people would in their 20s.
I want to live to see the US tricentennial in 2076. I'd be 101. But that leads into my biggest fear, that I outlive all of my loved ones. I'm single and I die alone. And that is something that I have been afraid of.
That is terrifying.
Since I came out of the closet, because I always knew it was going to be trickier to find someone for long term, because there's the idea of promiscuity, the idea that men don't settle down, this idea that it's all about the scene baby, it's all about the casual hookups at the sauna, the dark room, et cetera, et cetera. None of it is about an honest relationship or love, which is what I actually want. I mean, I'm a bit older than you guys. I got almost 10 years on you guys. And I'm finding even guys my own age who, in a way, you could almost say haven't grown up.
Yeah, gay men don't grow up.
But I don't agree.
Some do.
Some
but it's
do.
hard enough to find some. We're already a minority, and it's finding a minority within.
Well, also it's men, isn't it? Men
minority.
don't generally grow up.
Well,
it's when men get with women, the women make them grow up.
Yeah, and having kids makes a lot
That's
of men grow
very
up.
Having kids.
But that's very sexist as well, and that really sells men short. You're really selling us. You're really selling our gender short when you say that.
Maybe I refer to just me. I'm certainly never going to grow up.
No. You're not.
There's
Chris,
growing
you're not the
old
only
and
one
then
who
there's
said
growing
that.
up.
Well, there's that old joke on the scene that, a gay relationship, after a few months, you settle down, then you get the mortgage after a year, then it's, and it's almost like
divorce after the second.
Divorce, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I think civil partnerships
Everything
have
happens
probably
really fast.
helped towards remedying that to a absolutely.
I think
that
this question, I think it boils down to the fear of commitment, because a lot of men, I don't think it's just gay men, I think men and commitment don't tend to go as well as women in commitment. I would say that, I haven't spent a lot of time on the gay scene recently, but when I was a bit younger and, sort of a bit more out there, I certainly did. And you often saw more older female couples than older male couples. Mm-hmm. Or the older male couples may stay at home, I don't know, but certainly out and about.
And I'd hazard a guess that there are more lesbian couples having kids, either through adoption or through, kind of artificial means, than there are gay men. Gay couples, gay male couples.
I found that when I worked at one particular bar that unfortunately is now closed, on the cabaret night, there were 3 elderly male couples that used to come. You probably remember them actually. And they was really sweet. And one couple had been together for 28 years, another had been together for 40 years. Yep. A couple of them had fought in the war, and they were together. But I only ever saw them at this cabaret night. So there must be loads that exist. They're obviously very happy and they're going to grow old together, as we would expect to when we grew up. You're going to grow old with somebody that you love and what have you. But you don't see it as much.
I think this.
I think there are more challenges, though.
I think I read this story, and I think this was in Canada, for a gay-only nursing home, and I'd like to think I don't know, because for example, you guys, you guys have kind of become like family to me, sort of thing, you know. So, but the idea of a gay-only nursing home, it's like, well, why? I've got lovely straight friends.
Right.
Why wouldn't I want to be in with them? You know. Right. For me, it's all about inclusivity. And
I don't get the whole gay
but
nursing
this is
home
choice,
thing.
isn't it? You're not, just because you're automatically gay, you're not going to get stamped and sent to a gay nursing home.
Maybe it's because, well, think about it. When you're a kid growing up, maybe not so much kids that are now being born and raised and what have you, but certainly probably more when you were growing up.
And
before, it was probably more difficult to be accepted as a gay man or as a gay boy, at that time. And when the thought of going into a nursing home is kind of the thought, it's almost like you're going backwards, isn't it? Because you've needed to be looked after growing up, then you sustain yourself, and now you need to be looked after again.
Yeah.
And if when you were being looked after, you remember that being gay was a big problem, you might psychologically put that back to being in a nursing home.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you've got these other old folk who, are heterosexual and have got very traditional ideas and what have you, and you can't be honest and open.
See, I find the idea of commitment and being alone, though, to be more important in this whole equation. Somebody I know, I was at a party, and it was a whole bunch of people around, and she held up a glass and she said, "To the family you choose." And we all toasted to that. I think that is more important. If we're not going to have the commitments, that we have the social networks, that we have a commitment among, like in this case, us four, that even if we don't have necessarily a commitment to one person.
There's no way I could go into a nursing home with all four of you.
I was going to say, are we going to have to make a pinky promise here?
Oh no, we should get our own place together like the Golden Girls.
No, that's the campus thing that's been said today.
All I know is I'm not going to be Rose.
Somehow I have a feeling
I'm
going
not
to be,
Sophia.
I'm going to be Blanche.
I don't know who they
Fine, I'll be the
are.
Arthur.
But exactly, but the thing that I think that's interesting is that we are looking at this from a very heteronormative social dynamic. This idea of we won't necessarily have children.
We may do.
But we might. And the thing is that, but if we don't, it's like, well, that's something my mother said to me. She goes, "What are you going to do if you don't get married?" I don't know, but why do I have to fit this dynamic? And the argument, like, for example, that the church and all of these more right-wing, less tolerant organizations, and I don't mean every church, but I'm generalizing, they say, well, this is something that's going on for thousands of years. In some ways, we are in some ways like explorers, because we're in this situation where we're not forming permanent relationships as often. We actually have a chance to make, as gay men and as LGBT people, we can make our own social environments. But I think that's interesting about the getting old. Why do we have to get old like our grandparents or our parents?
Because we don't know any different.
But we don't have to.
I like your comment about explorers. That makes it sound quite exciting almost. It's like, ooh.
It's also very threatening. It's very scary too.
Yeah.
I think nursing homes are going to be very different by the time we get older.
I hope so.
I think.
Well, it's like anything.
Be a lot of tattoos. It's a lot of saggy tattoos.